gave us. I'm gonna let the past be the past. It has taught me lessons, but now in the moment, in this time, I'm gonna do my best in this moment, and I think that's what it showed. Like he was just showing you love.
That's
like
it.
that's
you know,
crazy.
it's just that when you know better, you do better. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
But you know, on the adverse of that, my birth father is not like I don't feel like he even put forth any type of effort to want me in his life. He just I don't know what he expects of me, honestly, because I just felt like when I first started talking to him, he reached out or whatever, but I don't think he ever wanted a relationship for real. He just wanted to say, I'm your dad, and that's it. I don't have nothing else. I don't think he wanted to put anything, and so to see that he is putting himself aside and giving you what you need to say, this is like what a father would like.
I think my dad is savoring the moment too. I think we both kind of were on the same destruction, you know what I'm saying, at the same time, and didn't understand what we needed from each other, you know what I'm saying, because my dad battled with an addiction to women, like, you know, his wife that he's married to, you know, he was like all into her, you know what I'm saying. That was definitely a time I don't recall him from my dad.
Like all into her, like everything else, everything else.
Yeah. And that was definitely during my youth when I really needed him, when I was going through the real deep abuse, you know what I'm saying? And then when I do see him again, it's when I'm in my adult youth, like just getting into adulthood. So now I can talk to you however I want to, and I did.
But did you?
I did. I went in on my dad.
Do you feel like you still go in on him sometimes? Because I think to say that you're all the way past it is not fair. Because it's going to be moments in your life that you'll be like, man, I know my daddy here now, but he wasn't then, and I still have those feelings.
I mean, at that point in time, I drugged him like every chance I got. That's why my dad, Anthony, walked me down the aisle, and my dad was at my wedding. You get what I'm saying? Anthony walked me down the aisle. I was more committed to a promise I made with a friend, you know what I'm saying, 14, 15 years prior, than committed to the man who gave me life. Because I was still angry at that time. He only really came because Red wanted him there. Like, I don't even know. And then to hear stories that he was expecting to walk me down the aisle, like my cousin Raphael was like, yeah, man, you know, your daddy really thought he was going to walk you down the aisle, and then when he found out he wasn't, you know, he felt some type of way.
Right, and that's a privilege.
Yeah.
Why would I just give you that privilege just because you put sperm in my mama?
Right. But then, like, on the flip side of that, I brought you up here in front of all of the family because, like, the cake side is who showed up, not my mom's side. If you remember, I only had my cousin Sam, who was in the wedding, and 2 male cousins, Bone and my other cousin Junebug. Those were only, and then that family from Florida that I had just met. Like, you know what I'm saying? Those were the only Ellisons who showed up. But, like, I had cousins, you know, all that good stuff who showed up from my dad's side. Right. And I brought him in front of all of them, and I did that type of embarrassment. You know what I'm saying? When I look at it that way now. Maybe that wasn't the time or place to do what I did, you know, but I wasn't thinking. So the same way he wasn't thinking that time about me, I've done the same thing. You know, that's why I get that, you know, everybody could be a victim and a villain at the same time. You know what I'm saying? And we see him, we talk about how somebody hurt us, but do we talk about how you hurt somebody else?
True, but I feel that's how I feel. Yeah. I feel like I hurt him because I was like, okay, you know, like, yeah, you in my life, but I don't give a fuck because I'm wrong as hell.
Right.
And I may have hurt his feelings, and maybe that's why he don't fuck with me like that. Right. Maybe I came off crazy.
Right.
And he was like, you know, I was being his villain.
Right.
Like giving him grace when I'm like, fuck your grace. Right. I don't care.
Right. And I don't feel like there was nothing wrong with what you did. You know what I'm saying? Because just like I don't feel like there was nothing I did at that time. I can look back on it now and be like, okay, I see.
Yeah, but you don't regret.
But I don't, because it's done. It ain't nothing I'm gonna go back on and try to fix or anything like that now. So I appreciate the moments right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's cool.
And
I really like
happy for you to
Yeah.
be able to experience that.
And that's where I appreciate being able to, you know what I'm saying, just be okay and being on this side. Like I mean, I'm for real. I enjoy being a student right now. I don't have to worry about, you know what I'm saying, that pressure and the expectation of what am I gonna say to try to fix a problem. I can just sit back, take notes, and learn.
What is that sound?
My phone.
Oh. It sounds like some punching.
It's beats,
Oh.
like African drums. And so I constantly was seeing, you know, oh, they had a family reunion this year, and oh, why didn't I know about it? You know
So
what
you
I'm saying?
knew about
Or-
stuff that was going on.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Or when I lived down here the first time, and I'm like, yeah, I'm the older daughter, and Nate the daughter, and this town is a blink of an eye big. And people, at that time, I was in my early 20s, and people were like, Nate has a daughter?
They didn't even know.
They didn't even know. And this place is like big. You know what I'm saying? Like that hurt.
So that does hurt in the sense of like being where it's like in arm's reach.
Yeah.
Whereas mine is in state reach.
Right.
It's like I don't. It's
Right.
like out of mind.
Right.
Where you really
This is
damn. It don't even matter.
Right.
But you see it like how it's unfolding.
Yeah.
You're not a part of it.
Like, even going back to my childhood with my mom, you know, was with my siblings' father. I remember the first year that we moved up to Atlanta from down here. You know, the oldest child go through the most with a parent, especially when the parent is not prepared for them. So you go through everything. You know what I'm saying? And I remember the year we moved up there, she was chasing behind him. I mean, it's crazy because my mom talked about how he beat her, how he cheated, blah, blah, blah. It's always the woman's fault, though. I've never heard her say, you know, I just was never in a good situation with him. So anyway, what I'm getting at is the year that we moved up there, I remember they had got into a real bad Christmas. Got into it real bad. He made us go in the car. And I remember looking out the back seat of the car. My mom was sitting in the front seat crying with the heat on, this old money Carlo, barely working. And he made my siblings wave their toys down in the window at me on Christmas to show me they got toys. He used to be the type of stepdaddy that, like, one year, I remember my dad probably giving me maybe 3 gifts my whole life. And one particular year, he got me a Pound Puppy bicycle. It was way too big for me at the time. I was only like 3, 4, because I remember being in preschool. But the bike was like one of the big girl bikes. Like, you didn't even know me. But my stepdad also bought me a bike that year. And he would be like, which bike you like better? You like your daddy bike or you like my bike? Am I a better daddy than him? Like, I'm 3, 4, 5 years old. You get what I'm saying? Like, for real. And so, I just never felt guarded or protected or safe at all. So, what I'm getting at is that when I had my breakdown, it's like he related to me and was able to just say, you know, okay, I've been there. For the first time, you know, he was able to help me finish the race. You know what I'm saying? And I needed that. I needed that. I needed to know how to let go because I didn't know. I knew how to hold on because that was a product of my environment, but I didn't know how to let go. Now we're supposed to be on lights.
I know. Was that heavy?
That was too heavy.
I was
For
complimenting.
me.
I started with complimenting the way your relationship with your daddy.
Yeah.
That was light for me because it was interesting to see. You know, my kids be like, "Do I have a granddad?" I'm like, no. Like, you don't have a granddad. They see their cousins with the grandfather.
Right.
My kids don't have one.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
what does that look like? What does that mean? But I grew up without a grandfather. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So it's like,
yeah.
but I had, you know, men in my life.
Right.
Older men in my
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, especially all your uncles, man.
But even them, they was fucked up because think about my Uncle Joey,
Yes.
how he literally was there and he was gone for 12 fucking years.
Yeah.
We could not find this motherfucker. And then
Off the grid,
he
off the
literally
grid.
came back out of nowhere, like 2019, and boom, 2020, he dead.
Dead. Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was crazy. But
It was like he found his way back for that purpose, you know.
to
what I'm
just,
saying?
it's almost like he was
I'm tired.
completely, I think
Yeah.
in death, we don't, it's always unknown.
Right.
But I think the universe allows for us to, if we can acknowledge it,
Yes.
to have our moment. That last
Yes.
moment that you can remember. Like I
Yes.
remember my last moment with you.
Yeah.
And it was special then.
Yeah.
But now I didn't realize how special it really was.
Yeah. Yeah. I you know, when you say that, I think about how they talked about how Omar on his last day just went and visited everybody.
Right.
And was just catching us, just checking on them. He just made phone calls. He was checking on everybody.
Yeah. And so he didn't know that was going to
That's
happen.
it,
Of
right.
course, you know, because if the thing is, if we know that we're about to go, we're
Right.
going to try to prevent
Right.
it. We're going to make sure somebody there.
Right.
We're going to stay up all
Right.
night
Right.
and try to prevent that from happening, but we don't know. And that's
Right.
why I always tell people, when you get a feeling
Yeah.
to call somebody, call them.
Call
When you
them.
get
Act
a
on it.
feeling to have a session or do something,
Yeah.
work, act on
Act
it,
on it,
because
yeah.
something is telling you to make sure that this happens in your life
Yeah.
at that time,
Yeah.
or whatever may be coming down the
Because had he not done what he done, had he just been, you know what, I'm tired today.
line.
Would that have been the story, you know what I'm saying, coming from a lot of people's mouths about, you know what I'm saying, he left me on a good note, you know. I just, man, this side is fun though. Like, I think when you are able to like really get control over your life, like real talk control over your life, you get to live it more, you enjoy it more. Like, I just appreciate the journey. I like where I'm going.
Yeah. Right now, I'm tripping. We can't hear shit.